Dealings with the Dead, number 9. When I first undertook, there was scarcely any variety, either in the inscriptions or devices upon the gravestones, death's heads and crossbones, scythes and hourglasses, angels with rather a diabolical expression, all-seeing eyes with an ominous squint. Freemasons, obviously. Squares and compasses, also Freemasons. Such were the common devices, and every third or fourth tablet was inscribed, "Thou traveller that passest by, as thou art now, so once was I. As I am now, thou soon shalt be. Prepare for death and follow me." No wonder people were wearied to death, or within an inch of it, by reading this lugubrious quatrain for the 100th time. We had not then learned from that vivacious people, who have neither taste nor talent for being sad, to convert our graveyards into pleasure grounds. To be sure, even in my elderly days, long before an audacious spirit now and then would burst the bounds of this mortuary sameness, and take a bolder flight, we have an example of this on the tablet of the Reverend Joseph Moody in the graveyard at York, Maine. Although this stone may moulder into dust, yet Joseph Moody's name continue must. And another in Dorchester, "Here lies our captain and mayor of Suffolk. Was withal a godly magistrate, was he, and major general, 2 troops of horse with him here came. Such worth his love did crave, 10 companies also mourning marched to his grave. Let all that read be sure to keep the faith as he has done. With Christ he lives now crowned. His name was Humphrey Atherton. He died the 16th of September, 1661. And the English spelling has become more standardized since then. But I tried, right? The following also in the graveyard at Attleborough, upon the tablet of the Reverend Peter Thatcher, who died in 1785, is no common effort, and in the style of Tate and Brady, whom papist not, with superstitious fire, would dare to adore, we justly may admire. And another in the same graveyard upon the slave Cassar is very clever. The 2 last lines seem by another hand. Here lies the best of slaves, now turning into dust. Cassar the Ethiopian craves a place among the just. His faithful soul is fled to realms of heavenly light, and by the blood that Jesus shed, it's changed from black to white. January 15, he quitted the stage in the 77th year of his age. It doesn't say Seth, so 77, 15. An erratum, ever to be regretted, is certainly quite unexpected on a gravestone. In the graveyard at Norfolk, Virginia, there is a handsome marble monument sacred to the memory of Miss Margaret, etc., wife of, and so on, who died, and so on. Erratum for Margaret, read Martha. In olden time there was a provost, a bonny Dundee, and his name was Dixon. He was a right jolly provost, and seemed resolved to have one good joke beyond the grave. He bequeathed 10 pounds apiece to 3 men remarkable above their fellows for avarice and dullness, on condition that they should join in the composition of his epitaph in rhyme and metre. they met. The task was terrible, but Dr. Johnson would have said, "What will not a Scotchman undertake for £10? It need not be long," said one. "A line apiece," said the second. "Shall I begin?" said the third. This was objected to, of course, for whoever commenced was relieved from the onus of the rhyme. They drew lots for this advantage ground, and he who won, after copious perspiration, produced the following line: "Here lies Dixon, Provost of Dundee." This was very much admired, brief and sententious. His name, his official station, his death, and the place of his burial were happily compressed in a single line. After severe exertion, the second line was produced: "Here lies Dixon, here lies he." It was objected that this was tautological, and that it did not even go so far as the first, which set forth the official character of the deceased. It was said in reply by one of the executors who happened to be present, and who acted as amicus poetae, that the second line would have been tautological if it had set forth the official station, which it did not, and that as there had once been a female provost, the last word effectually established the sex of Dixon, which was very important. The third legatee, though he had leave of absence for an hour, and refreshed his spirit by a ramble on the Frith of Tay, was utterly unable to complete the epitaph. At an adjourned meeting, however, he produced the following line: "Hallelujah, hallelujah." There are some beautiful epitaphs in our language. There are half a dozen, perhaps, which are exquisitely so, and I believe there are not many more. I dare not present them here in juxtaposition with such light matter. Swift's clever epitaph on a miser may more appropriately close this article: "Beneath this verdant hillock lies Demer the wealthy and the wise. His heirs, that he might safely rest, have put his carcass in a chest, the very chest in which they say his other self his money lay. And if his heirs continue kind to that dear self he left behind, I dare believe that 4 and 5 will think his better half alive."